Welcome back to SnowRunner, guys, and today we're going to be having a look at the GWC Flex-J. Now, it is extremely obvious what inspired this vehicle and also what inspired its name, so I'm not going to say what it was inspired by. I feel like y'all can probably figure that out pretty easily. In fact, I even owned one of these at one point, and you know what? It was one of the most fun vehicles I ever owned, and to this day, I have thrown around the idea in my head of getting another one at some point because I genuinely had so much fun with my real-world one. Now, some of the cool things about this vehicle are the fact that if you look inside, it actually has a full cage, and it has racing seats up front, and also, the gauges work. So if I fire it up, you can see not only do the gauges come online, but if I put it in neutral and rev it, you can see that the tach actually moves with the throttle input. So I absolutely love that. The speedometer works, and really everything in here actually functions like pretty much a real dash would. Now, we're going to go ahead and take it into the garage out here on the summer testing grounds, and I'm going to show you guys what this thing is capable of when you really build it up. Now, it's really cool that we're getting something like this on consoles, and something like this, you know, could be fully friendly for consoles. And now, it's not on the mod browser yet as of the day of recording this video, but it will potentially make its way onto consoles very, very quickly. And if you're watching this in the future, it probably already is on consoles because Glitchworks mods usually make their way onto consoles pretty fast. Now, engine-wise, we have the stock 4.0, we have a 4.7 stroker, which gets us up to an S+ power to weight rating, and then we have a 4.7 turbo Ttc competition engine. This, I'm sure, is going to have some crazy power and torque. Now, gearbox-wise, we've got a 5-speed default, 6-speed highway, and 4-speed off-road. We're definitely going to have to go with the 4-speed off-road for this build. And now, suspension height, the Extreme Flex version kind of launches the Jeep into the air the second you switch to it. Now, you also have the standard normal height, which actually, the normal height suspension, even though it's like the normal one, it has a lot of flex to it as well. Like I tested this thing on the flex ramp. It's got a lot. And then also, you have a standard kind of a 4-inch rough country style setup. We're going to go with the Crawler Extreme Flex, and then I've actually already purchased it just because I wanted to see what it was like, I wanted to see what it would do, and it's wild. It's absolutely nuts. Now, there's also some default Jeep wheels and tires on this thing, along with some GWC tires as well, and you can put the GWC mud terrains on here in just about whatever size you want. These guys they're very IROC inspired, and, oh, actually, these Gen X all-terrains are kind of like, they're very wide, like extremely wide for what they are. Now, let's see how big we can go with these. We got a 39, and, oh god, you can go with kind of a monster setup with the 47-inch GWC Ttc IROCs for basically kind of more of a top truck challenge style setup. Now, in the mud tire category, oh, that's cool. You've got TSLs, you've got boggers, you've got, wow, like a big range of just about whatever you'd want. Now, 43-inch monster tires are also an option here if you would like to... Uh-oh. What are you doing? What's happening? Did my controller... Yep, my controller decided its time was over. All right, well, that was fun. It literally... Oh, now it came back. Did it go away again? What in the heck? Okay, buys a wireless controller because he wants more reliability. Controller decides to be less reliable. Great. Love it. Absolutely love it. So let's go ahead and go back now to the... Let's run the... Well, okay, I'm going back and forth between the Ttc IROCs and, like, say, for example, some 39-inch Baja Claws, or, well, I say Baja Claws style tires. I think we're going to go with the GWC mud terrains first, and we'll see what those are like, and then we'll probably switch to the Ttc setup later on down the line after that. Gonna have to go with that stage 4 winch, and then visuals-wise, we've got stock fenders, deleted fenders, and flared fenders. I kind of want to delete the fenders just to go full-on, like, crazy mode, basically. But I also kind of like the complete look that the flared fenders give us, and I might, you know what? I might go with the flared fenders. I know that that's kind of, like, unusual for me, but definitely going with the snorkel. And let's see. Oh, you've got actually some, like, a rear bumper with a spare tire, tubular bumper. You've got a spare tire and some extra fuel. Let's see, steel woods bumper. I'm going to go with that. Now, sidebars, let's see. You've got actually two different styles of rock sliders. I'm going to do these because they're a little bit more, like, tucked up towards the body. And front bumper-wise, I guess that's not done yet. And let's see. I like the deep woods bumper. That looks sick. Loaded roof rack or a stock roof rack. I think we'll go with the stock roof rack, which is what we kind of have already. And let's see, Woods light bar, Rally Raid light bar, LED light bar, and Woods light bar. Let me do the Rally Raid light bar. I think that looks really, really cool. Now, your wheel selection is going to come with a lot of different wheels that have been in multiple mods by Glitch before, and I personally really like the process. I like the mode as well, because they're kind of similar to that method racing wheel style. So I think I'm going to go with the process, and then in terms of colors, I like that dark red, deep red. I like the yellow as well. Like, there's a lot of really nice colors that you can actually throw on this thing. XJs also look really good in white, I think. And really, at the end of the day, the color is all down to your personal preference. I like the blue as well. I think I'm going to go with the deep red, actually. Shocker, I know. But the deep red looks really good with this kind of bronzy gold color on the wheels. And I think that the color really does do a great job of bringing out the depth of kind of like, you know, a little bit of a contrast between some of the add-ons on the rig. So let's go ahead and take it over to the flex ramp, see how it flexes, and then we'll take it to some obstacles. I said reverse, please. Now, the diff lock is thankfully always on, so even if you are in automatic mode, you're never going to have to worry about whether or not your diff is locked. And actually, looking at it right here, next to a default 1500, kind of shows you how it's actually scaled pretty close to a standard in-game vehicle. It's just obviously going to be a lot taller because of the lift and because of the tires. But I really like, you know, parking this thing next to a default vehicle, because once again, the scaling is pretty dang close to like what a default vehicle size would be. Now, bringing it up the flex ramp, I'd say that's some pretty dang good flex. Yeah, I would definitely say that's some pretty good flex. Oh, God. You'd think that in real life, the coil spring would probably just flop right out of there. We had that happen in my original XJ, because it was a long arm XJ, and there were a couple of spots that we went into with it where we flexed it out completely to where you could have just reached in with your hand and just pulled the coil spring out. In hindsight, I probably should have had some sort of like safety strap in there for it, but you know what? Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Now, going through the river, this thing doesn't even really worry about it at all. It doesn't practically even think about the river. Now, up here in the rocks, though, I know it's not like a proper, like, rock crawling trail, but it should give us a pretty good idea of what this thing's gonna be like on the rocks. Look at that torque, though. The torque of that turbo 4.7 is immense. Even going up the hills in automatic mode, it didn't even come close to stopping. Now, this spot right here is definitely going to be a good way to... Oh, dude, I love the way this thing looks when it's going up some rocks, though. Come on. I know it slides a little bit on those rocks, but, like, everything slides on these rocks. It's not necessarily an area that... it's not necessarily an area that's known for its grip. All right, let's make our way up this ledge. Oh, dude, like, easy. And these aren't even rocks that are tuned for higher grip, like a lot of the rocks on the rock crawling maps. So I would be, honestly, like, I would be willing to bet that this thing would destroy some rock crawling trails on, like, a full-on rock crawling map. All right, let's back you up real quick. Make our way back forward once again. And now, ow. I'm actually surprised we didn't flip it over. That's pretty dang impressive to me, the fact that we didn't just completely flip it over right there. Now, since we're getting close to the mud, I want to go ahead and actually switch up that tire, because let's do... Come on, what is the one that I'm looking for? The Swampers? Not exactly. Mud terrain. Let's see. Those are the Ttc tires. Where's the actual, like... Where's the actual, like, genuine mud tire? Because that's the thing I'm trying to find, is, like, the ag style. There it is. The ag style tires. Now, these should be really interesting in the mud, because I want to know if this thing can actually hold pace in the mud in high, because that's always, like, a big question for me with a lot of these rigs. Now, in the shallow mud, it seems to be absolutely fine. What about if we dip it into one of these mud lanes, still in high on these agricultural tires? Let's see. And it seems to be fine. That's pretty dang impressive. All right, second mud lane. Now, this will probably start to sink it. Wow, no, it doesn't. Or at least, well, it kind of does when you get halfway through. So let me go back into automatic mode and ease it through in automatic mode. And, I mean, it still goes up to third gear. Now, when it gets really, really deep and really, really thick in the mud, you do have to go back to first, and that's kind of where... Whoa, it's actually starting to get stuck. That's not what I expected. The edge of this little mud lane is always one of the most difficult ones to drive out of, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's because the vehicle itself gets its axles buried or gets its axles like wedged or stuck, but it's always an extremely difficult spot to get out of. Now, I'm going to actually switch up the tire setup one more time. We're going to go to the Ttc Tires, and now we're going to make our way over to the dips obstacle. Now, the Ttc tire setup is designed to genuinely allow this thing to not only climb everything in its path, but if necessary, roll right over everything in its path. And that's what I'm betting it's going to do right here on the dips obstacle. So, ease it. Oh, okay. I guess we're not going to ease its way in. There we go. Now, you do lose a little bit of flex when you go with a tire this big, but it's not really an issue. I mean, when your tire is that large and that wide and you have that much sidewall, the amount of flex that you lose is kind of an okay, like, it's an okay sacrifice to make, really, because you gain a bunch of extra, you know, flex and deflection solely in the sidewall of the tires. So let's ease it through the dips obstacle, which, by the way, with these tires, it never even really scrapes the front end. I mean, it touches the front of the Stinger bumper, but that's really about it. And now, it's time to swap the transmission over to the highway transmission, and then repair and refuel, and make our way out to the bridge jump. Now, I'm going to actually swap that over to the afternoon, and it's still foggy. Okay. Wow, I love how it stopped raining and I swapped it over to the afternoon. It's like, I'm going to start raining again. You know what? I'm going to use my dev tool powers to make that not a thing anymore, because I'd rather it be like a chill day outside and not constantly like foggy, gloomy. Now, granted, there are some times when that adds a lot of like ambience to the environment of the game, but I feel like out here on the testing grounds, I mean, sometimes it's nice to have the rain, sure, but like when I'm out here testing vehicles, I kind of prefer it to be a sunny day. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely prefer it that way most of the time. All right, so let's make our way up to the top of the bridge jump. We're going to be heading down in first-person view just to kind of prevent the camera from freaking out. We're in 5th gear, 6th gear now. Let's go. Oh, this is going to be... wow! I mean, apart from getting absolutely pulled into the woods, that was an extremely, extremely easy landing. Like, genuinely extremely easy landing. Let me see if I can get it back onto its tires. Easy. And I wish the quick winch would have been able to do this itself, but, like, the quick winch doesn't really, think of the best approaches for things sometimes. And with that being said, I hope you all did enjoy this video and enjoy this look at the GWC Flex-J. And if you did, make sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time.